everyone, you're welcome to MSI EduTech online home lesson. Our topic today is angle of elevation and depression. Today we are going to move out of the class and see the application of angle of elevation and angle of depression. I want to ask you these questions before we move out of this class. The first question is, have you ever seen tall building before and you see bird on the top of that building, and you look through that long building, that tower? Have you ever seen street light before and you see someone holding a baby and you look through that baby and that baby looked at you back? That is the application of angle of elevation and angle of depression.
In everyday life, we come across many buildings, monuments, and other structures. The heights of these structures can be found using trigonometric ratios. Let's review some basic terminology associated with finding heights and distances. Suppose an observer is looking at the top of a tower. The line joining that object and the eye of the observer is called the line of sight. The angle between the horizontal line and the line of sight, which is above the observer's eye, is called the angle of elevation. Suppose the observer is standing on the edge of a cliff and observing a boat on the water. The line of sight will be as shown. Here, the angle between the horizontal line and line of sight, which is below the observer's eye, is called the angle of depression.
Okay, thank you very much. Now let's see the calculation on angle of elevation and angle of depression. I'll be right back. Okay, class, you're welcome back to class. Now we want to see the calculation on angle of elevation and angle of depression. But before we do that, I need to give you some basic ingredients so that you don't find this class very difficult. Now, take a look at this. You have something like this. This is angle theta, which is angle of elevation. Now, this side is called hypotenuse. This side is called opposite, and this is adjacent. Now, from here, we can have what we call SOHCAHTOA. I'll tell you what SOHCAHTOA means. This is just the short form, but you need to understand this. S is sine theta equals to opposite over hypotenuse. While C is cosine, while sometimes we call it cos theta, equals to adjacent all over hypotenuse. The last one is T, tangent. Sometimes we call it tan theta, which will give us opposite all over adjacent. So we are going to make use of this while solving angle of elevation and angle of depression. Now, the next thing for you to understand is this. You need to understand that this angle is called angle of elevation. Now, this is angle of depression. This is angle or depression. Okay, now let's take a look at this example, how to solve this question. I'll be right back. Okay class, let's take a look at this question. A man measured the angle of elevation between the ground and a building 800 feet away to be 30 degrees. How tall is the building? A man measures the angle of elevation between the ground and a building 800 feet away to be 30 degrees. How tall is the building? How tall is the building? Now let's just draw this. This is the building, the wall of the building, and the man look up, and this is the ground. Now the angle of elevation here is 30 degrees. Now if you look at the question very well, the question says a man measured the angle of elevation between the ground and a building, between the ground and the building 800 feet. Now what we are looking for now is how tall is the building. That is the height of the building, which is represented by h. So now what we are looking for now is how to find h. Now to do this, you need to understand what I told you before. So catois, if you use sine theta, so opposite over hypotenuse, opposite is not given, hypotenuse is not given, so we can't use that. If you use cos, cosine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, that is so ah. Now let's take a look at tan theta. Tan theta is opposite over adjacent, so we are going to make use of tan theta here. So tan theta will give you opposite all over adjacent. So this will give us tan 30 degree equals to, what's our opposite here? This is opposite, which is height, divided by adjacent, which is 800 feet. So divide this by 1, then you cross multiply. When you cross multiply, this one will multiply each, and this 800 feet will multiply tan theta. So we are going to have tan theta, which is tan 30, 30 degree equal, multiply by 800 feet equals to h. So this height, which is 8, will give you tan 30 degree times 800. Height will give you tan 30 degree will give you what? So height will give us tan 30 degree times 800. Tan 30 degree will give us 0.5773 multiplied by 800. If you multiply this, this will give us 461.84 feet. So this will be the height of the building. I believe you understand this. Now let me give you another example. I'll be right back. Okay class, let's take a look at this question. A pole of height 25 meters stands vertically on the ground. The angle of elevation of the top of the pole from a point on the ground is 45 degrees. Find the distance of the point from the foot of the pole. Now, To solve this, you need to interpret this question very well. Sit down, think, and reason. Now, let's take it one by one. The pole of height. This is the pole. The height of the pole is 25 meters. The second statement is, it stands vertically on the ground. This is the ground, right? This is the ground. Then the next thing is the angle of elevation of the pole, of the top of the pole, from a point on the ground is 45 degrees. So this is the angle of elevation, and this is 45 degrees. Now, find the distance of the point from the foot of the pole. What we are looking for now is the distance. The distance, this is distance. Now, remember SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. Here, if we use tan theta, TOA, opposite over adjacent. This is adjacent, and this is what we are looking for, the distance. Now, tan theta has been given to us, tan 45 degree equals to opposite, which is 25 meter, divided by adjacent, which is distance. Okay, now what you do here, divide this by 1 and cross multiply. When you do that, we are going to have tan 45 degree times distance equals to 25 meter times 1. So this tan 45 is 1 times distance equals to 25 meter. So 1 times distance will still give you 1. So distance is what? Is 25 meter. I believe you understand. Okay guys, let's take a look at this question. A ball standing on a tower observes a ball on the ground of angle of depression of 30 degrees. The ball is located 16 meters from the foot of the tower. Find the height of the tower. Now, to solve this question, you need to interpret this statement. The first thing is, let's draw the tower. Let's say this is a tower, right? And the foot of the tower is here, right? The ball is up of this tower, and the angle of depression is here. The angle of depression is 30 degrees. So we have 30 degrees here. This is the height of the tower, and the distance between the foot of this tower and the ball is what? 60 meters. 60 meters. Now, you need to understand this angle. If you don't know this angle, you cannot find the height of this tower. But this is angle of depression. That's what we call alternate angle. Alternate angle are always the same. So what will happen here, if 30 degrees here, what will be here will be what? 30 degrees, because of alternate angle. Now, once we get this, the next thing to do is to find the height. Remember your SOHCAHTOA. Now, if we use tan theta, is opposite over adjacent, right? Now, theta is given to us as 30 degree, which is angle of depression, that we have alternate angle here. So this will give us tan 30 degree equals to opposite. What is opposite? This is opposite, which is height, okay, all over adjacent, which is 60 meter. So divide this by 1 and cross multiply. When you cross multiply, you are going to have tan 30 degree times 60 meter equals to height times worm. Now height will give you tan 30 degree times 60 meter. So what is tan 30 degree? So tan 30 degree will give us 0.5773 multiplied by 60 meter. So if you multiply this, you are going to have 34.64 meter. Thank you very much. I believe you enjoyed this class for today. We need to recap everything we have done so far. Number 1, line of sight. That is the line joining the observer's eyes and the object observed. Angle of elevation, the angle between the horizontal line and the line of sight, which is above the observer's eyes. Angle of depression, the angle between the horizontal line and the line of sight, which is below the observer's eyes. Thank you very much. My name still remains the same, Mr. David, your best friend from MSI EduTech online class. Until I see you next class, I remain the same. Bye. See you